What's up, dorks? Welcome back to the Cave of Dorkness. This is episode 7, Planet of the Apes. This little fella right here is Caesar, as played by Roddy McDowall in Conquest of the Planet of the Apes, the 4th film in the franchise. Of course, McDowall entered the series in the original 1968 film, but not as Caesar, but as Caesar's daddy, Cornelius. Planet of the Apes is one of my all-time favorite film franchises. You know, Star Trek is here, Planet of the Apes is here, Marvel MCU movies are here, and Star Wars is somewhere down there. Why do I love the franchise so much? Well, it's just so damn angry. Like the best science fiction, it speaks to a societal concern and screams to the audience and the heavens. The first Planet of the Apes was talking about our seemingly unstoppable desire to kill ourselves, as well as how we use religion as a tool of oppression. The second film, Beneath the Planet of the Apes, continues that concern regarding the A-bomb. Escape from the Planet of the Apes is all about celebrity and the insanity around it. It ends with possibly the darkest climax of the entire series, despite its hijinks-fueled plot. The ending of that one is just so brutal. And it leads into Conquest of the Planet of the Apes, which is kind of a parallel story to the civil rights movement, and it's a direct response to the Watts riots. The ending of Conquest for the Planet of the Apes is brutal, savage, so angry, and I would recommend watching the director's cut. Don't deal with a theatrical cut. Theatrical cut betrays the tone of the series and offers a little bit of hope, and Planet of the Apes films should not offer hope. I guess the new ones have a little more cheer to them, but even, you know, the Andy Serkis films are steeped in wrought emotion and concern for how we treat our fellow humans. And then, okay, yeah, there's Battle for the Planet of the Apes. We don't need to talk about Battle for the Planet of the Apes. It's easily the worst one in this whole franchise, and I'm including Tim Burton's awful remake, because at least Tim Burton's remake has Rick Baker's makeup effects, and those are astonishing. And Danny Elfman's score in the Planet of the Apes remake is also really wonderful. So that right there trumps anything that happens in Battle for the Planet of the Apes. But this guy right here, he looks like a bust, but he's not just a bust. He contains the entire series. Well, again, not the Andy Serkis films. But if you pick him up and you flip him over and you ignore all the dust, as we talked about in the last episode with the Gamorrean guard, the first skirt and how it picks up the dust, well, Caesar's hair and jacket certainly picks up a lot of dust. But if you flip up this flap, boom, Planet of the Apes box set right there. Not only does it contain the first 5 films, it also has the spin-off cartoon series and the spin-off television show, in which Roddy McDowall would make a guest appearance as yet another chimpanzee. Not related to Caesar or Cornelius, unfortunately. I don't know. Have you guys seen this movie? Have you seen any of the movies? You've probably seen the new ones, but if you haven't seen the 68 original, I'd highly recommend that. It's actually based on a 1963 novel from French writer Pierre Boulet, the same novelist who wrote The Bridge on the River Kwai, adapted into the great David Lean film. Now, the 68 film is very different than the Pierre Boulet novel. That book still is about some explorers venturing into the far reaches of space and encountering an ape civilization, but the ape civilization that they see is much more similar to 20th century Earth. You know, they're driving around in cars, they're wearing business suits. When Dick Zanuck wanted to adapt the book, he hired Rod Serling to do a faithful adaptation of the story. Unfortunately, that version would have cost a lot more money, so they had to make the ape civilization a little bit more primitive, and they hired Michael Wilson to come in and rework Rod Serling's script. Now, the good news is, if you're curious about the original story, one, you can read the book. But recently, Boom Comics have done an adaptation of that Rod Serling storyline. And comedian and Planet of the Apes maniac Dana Gould oversaw the translation. This is a beautiful hardcover. And Boom Comics, they're doing so many great Planet of the Apes books right now. More on that later. Charlton Heston in Planet of the Apes. He is such an asshole, a total dick, and that's what I love about it. He escapes Earth because he's fed up with humanity. He wants no more of it. And space, the void, the infinite, is a welcome calm to him. Of course, he lands on the Planet of the Apes and loses his damn mind. He's the only human who can still talk, and he's seen as this sideshow freak. And the minister of religion, Dr. Zaius, wants to erase him from their culture, doesn't want the knowledge out that at one point in time, man could speak. That is a affront to their religion. And Charlton Heston, nobody does anger better than that guy. And for 1968, the makeup effects are astonishing. John Chambers was responsible for putting those together. He is also really well known because of the film Argo, the Ben Affleck film. You learn that during the Iran hostage crisis, John Chambers helped the CIA in constructing a disguise kit for those guys. And, he received a CIA Medal of Merit for his actions. And those actions had to remain secret until 1997 when they were declassified. And because of that, you can actually go to Washington, D.C., to the International Spy Museum, and they have on display, along with John Chambers' makeup kit, they have the prosthesis for Dr. Zaius. You can go look at one of the many appliances that were used in the original Planet of the Apes film. And that's so wonderful to see. I came to Planet of the Apes in college. It was, I had never seen the original films. I, of course, saw the remake, and I liked the remake as a Rick Baker fan, but I wasn't in love with the remake. But that caused me to watch the original, and once I saw the original, I just adored it. But for whatever reason, I did not venture into the sequels, and that took my buddy Matt, the original co-founder of In the Mouth of Dorkness, to encourage me through his Hestfest film festival that he holds usually every October. That's when I saw Beneath the Planet of the Apes. And while Beneath the Planet of the Apes is not as good as the original, there are a lot of cool moments in it. The ending is astonishing. And then Escape from the Planet of the Apes I adore, and Conquest of the Planet of the Apes, like I said, I think it's the second best in the entire series. Again, so angry, these movies, and I think in 2018 I respond really well to anger in my cinema. I want my art to speak to change, and the Planet of the Apes franchise does that. Go check out this franchise. You're probably gonna have a difficult time finding this box set. I'm sure it's on eBay. I got it for a decent price when the new films came out. 20th Century Fox was trying to empty their warehouse, so I got this for $20. And you might be able to find it for that price somewhere online too. It's goofy looking. It's not a perfect replica of Roddy McDowell as Caesar, but I think he's pretty cute. He's a cute little chimp. And he sits out in the door cave amongst my Star Wars toys. Okay, check those out. If you want to continue the Planet of the Apes experience, like that Boom comic of Rod Serling's version of the story, you can also check out a lot of really wild and crazy mashups. King Kong on Planet of the Apes? Yes, that's a thing. And it's actually pretty decent. Tarzan on Planet of the Apes. Instead of Taylor venturing to the planet, Edgar Rice Burroughs' Tarzan goes to the simian hellscape. And it's amazing. This is probably my favorite spin-off comic. And I'm including the Star Trek in the Planet of the Apes book too, which I don't have here, but is also quite good. My thanks to Boom Comics and Dark Horse Comics for letting Tarzan jump on board. They're doing a lot of really great stuff. And anytime there's a Planet of the Apes movie, they do a decent adaptation of that too. The last War of the Planet of the Apes comic was solid. So there you go. that's it for today. As always, follow my other dorks. Brian Young, the Turtle Dork, always doing those reactions. He just did a great one for Mowgli, the Andy Serkis trailer, heading to Netflix. Very curious about that film. Follow Darren Smith, the Disco Dork, at the Disco Dork on all social medias. Follow my wife, Lisa Gullickson, at Sidewalk Siren. Don't forget to check her out on Letterboxd. And Billy Dass, the Indie Dork, he's at WB Dass on Twitter and Instagram. He's doing a few Instagrams. He's getting back into the swing of things. And I, of course, am Brad Gullickson at MouthDork on all social medias. Until next time, guys, I really appreciate you hanging out with me. Like, subscribe, comment below. I would really appreciate it. Take care.